So warm welcome to CrossYoga Slow. It will be a 40 minutes, 45 minutes class where you get a lot of strength, a lot of stretches, and it's all gonna be Christ-centered yoga for everyone. So if you're not like new to yoga, or if you're new to yoga and if you're new to Christianity, take everything as you think you can take it in, okay? I'm not requiring you to think or believe in a certain way. It's up to you what you think and how you interpret it, things, okay? So come down on your mat, and if you have a strap, scarf, blanket, something like that, bring it along and you should be fine. Starting on our spine today, bending the knees, and because we don't want to get into a complete rest here from the beginning, try to make your knees join each other so they lean in towards each other, and let your hands rest on your belly. Be mindful of your shoulders, and then close your eyes. Breathe and exhale. And today I'll ask you only a few questions, one short Bible reading. And right now I want to welcome you home. Welcome you home to yourself. Welcome you home to the love of Christ. Here on the mat and in God's amazing love, you don't need to pretend or act. You can relax like you do at home. And I'll say a short prayer. Christ, make your home in me. May I relax in your love, in your forgiveness and your grace. Believing and trusting that I am utterly loved, fully known, and called by you. Take your hands above your head, and you can stretch out your legs as well. And just make yourself as long as you can. Try to engage every muscle you have on your legs, on your arms. Just strengthen, move, stretch. And then we're going to do exactly the opposite. Make a round ball here, squeezing together. Make yourself as short and small as possible. Tucking your chin towards your chest, and beautiful. Release your legs here, and then roll from the front and back. Get a little bit of speed. if you can say that. Come into seated pose. Stretch out your leg, or at least somewhat. Your sitting bones are on the mat. Take your hands towards the sky. And then do your cactus hands. So take your hands out. Maybe I want to turn. Take your hands out to the side, elbows 90-degree angle. Lift your hands towards the sky. Take your right hand and move to your outside of your left foot, a small twist. Into the middle, inhale. Cactus hands, exhale. And then twisting to your right side. Left hand up and twist. So let's do this. Inhale up and exhale down. Inhale up and exhale as you twist left. Up again. And then continue right side. Get a little bit of movements in our shoulders and our spine. And I would just encourage you to continue here. Sit and move. But if you prefer to sit still, you're welcome to, as I read a passage from the Bible. So choose to continue here slowly, or sit still as I read a passage from Mark 12, 41 through 44, NIV. Jesus sat down opposite the place where the offerings were, and watched the crowd putting their money into the temple treasury. Many rich people threw in large amounts, but a poor widow came and put in 2 very small copper coins, worth only a few cents. Calling his disciples to him, Jesus said, "Truly I tell you, this poor widow has put more into the treasury than all the others. They all gave out of their wealth, but she, out of her poverty, put in everything, all she had to live on." And come into a resting seated pose just for a second, and let that Bible reading stay with you. Maybe picture what happened. My first question today will be that story in the Bible. What does that speak to you? Come into your standing mountain pose, the front end of your mat. I know it's not a lot of time to ponder on my question, but I'll get back to it. So get your mountain pose, shoulders back. And this is a slow flow, but we'll still warm up our bodies just a little bit with a little bit of flow. So take your hands towards the sky. And forward fold, hands out to the side, big circle as you lean forward. Right leg lifts, move it back end of the mat. It's a lunge pose, bending front knee, looking forward, crescent lunge, standing up here, arms up. Leaning deeply down, stretching back leg. And then lean forward, taking your hands or arms by your hip, and then actually lifting them a little bit higher up behind you, shoulders away from your ears. Thighs and abs here aligned if you can go that deep. And then lift up your hands again, maybe stretching your front leg just to see if you can keep your balance. Again, bending front knee, stepping it back, downward facing dog. So this is a place where you lift your hip back and a little bit up. Maybe you stay here, or you take your vinyasa flow with me if you want to get really warm. Inhale as you come to your plank. Choose maybe your knees for the first time, navel in as you lower down, elbows by your ribs. Lift your chest to get your shoulders away from your ears as you lift your chest in a baby cobra, and then find your downward facing dog. Tucking your toes under, hips up and back. Breathe. Then move your right leg up, knee underneath your belly, and right leg to the front end of your mat. Again, crescent lunge when you're ready. Find your balance. Look forward, arms up, and sink low. Relax your shoulders. Lean forward as we did before, hands behind you, palms facing up. Maybe this is as low as you go, completely fine. Lifting your hands towards the sky again, trying to stretch your front leg if it's possible. And then step it to the front end of your mat. Hands down on your mat. Move it to the front. Forward fold. Exhale. Inhale, high mountain. Maybe looking up towards the sky. Throwing your hands out to the side. What am I offering today? Again, take your hands towards the sky. Forward fold. Taking your left foot back, doing exactly what we did before, just starting on the left side now. Crescent lunge, lift your hands up. Lean forward, bend your front knee really deeply. Take your hands towards the mat and turn them towards the sky, stretching your front leg if you can keep your balance. Downward facing dog, taking your time. Framing your foot, stepping it back. Stay here or do your vinyasa flow. Inhale. And this is the vinyasa flow. Exhale, lower down on your knees or toes. Inhale, lift your chest. Upward facing dog might be an option where your hips is lifted from the mat. And then down dog. Take your left leg, lift it up. Kick it back and then underneath your belly to the front end of your mat. Crescent lunge yet again. Lean forward. Lifting your hands towards the sky, stretching front leg. And then to the front end of your mat. Maybe you go for your forward fold first. And then high mountain. Awesome. Stay here for a few breaths, slowing down the pace. We're going to work with our balance and our strap right now. So take your strap, whatever it may be for you. As I said before, I have my yoga pants here, so whatever works. And take it behind you. I like my thumbs pointing towards each other. Now, if you have something a bit stretchy, maybe you take a hole where you really can squeeze out so there's not too much space between your hands. Squeeze your shoulder blades and lift your hands behind you. And then we're going to try to keep our balance this way. Now, if this is too hard, you can always let go of your strap and then take your fingers on the floor. But try to take your right leg behind you and lean forward, flexing a foot, so a warrior 3 pose. Somewhat. Breathe, closing your hip, trying to have a horizontal line, heel, hip, back of your head. Feel those triceps engaged. And then come into your mountain pose again. Let go of your strap, at least for a moment. Take your hands again on the strap, up, forward, and then pull on the strap from each side. So like pulling a strap further apart from each other. Lean back, opening up your chest and your everything. Awesome. Coming back, gathering your knees and toes. You can take a hold of your strap with one hand. Not going to use it like that right now. Take your hands down by your spine and just keep them there. Actually, actively pushing your shoulders away from your ears. Sitting as low as you can today. And even going lower if you want to get your thighs warm and strong. Mountain pose. Breathe. One last balance pose with our strap. It will be our dancer pose. If your strap is very short, it might be a challenge for you to do this. But we're going to catch our right foot here. So I take it on the front end of my foot, try to keep my balance, and pull my leg back. And I can even take a hold of my strap with both hands if you can, or even behind your head. I can't do that. But just hold here, moving, kicking back. So kind of a dancer's pose, leaning forward. If I have a longer strap, I would take my arms behind my head. No worries if you can't keep your balance. Keep kicking out, arching your back. And then gently come to the front end of your mat. Let go of your strap. Either stay in your mountain pose or do a sun salutation A if you want to get your heat up. I'm gonna walk you through a sun salutation A. Inhale your arms up. Exhale, forward fold. Inhale, half lift. Exhale, plank to low plank. Either jump or walk back. Lower down. Inhale, lifting your chest. Back bend. And exhale, down dog. Take a breath. Walk or jump to the front end of your mat again. Forward fold, exhale. And inhale, mountain pose. Stay here, do a few more of those sun salutations if you like. I'm going to read the passage one more time. So you choose if you want to stand or move. Jesus sat down opposite the place where the offerings were put and watched the crowd putting their money into the temple treasury. Many rich people threw in large amounts, but a poor woman came and put in only 2 very small copper coins, worth only a few cents. Calling his disciples to him, Jesus said, Truly I tell you, this poor widow has put more into the treasury than all the others. They all gave out of their wealth, but she, out of her poverty, put in everything, all she had to live on. So what are you offering Christ? Or offering what you believe is a greater good? It's just bits and pieces? Or everything? Take your hands behind you. And doing our sequence on the opposite side. So thumbs toward each other. This is our Warrior 3 pose. Engage your shoulder blades as you push them back and together. And this time, left leg moves back. Look down somewhere in front of you. And slowly take left leg behind you. Closing your hips. And giving maybe all you have in this pose and on your mat today. Two more breaths. Standing. Mountain pose. Let go of the strap, or at least take it to the front end of your mat. Still thumbs together. Maybe a bit more distance on your strap. Pull your strap, pull your thumbs away from each other as you lift your hands above your head and lean back, moving your hips to the front. Activating shoulders, backs, abs, everything here. Make sure you don't hyperextend your knees. Super. Releasing from your back bend. Chair pose. Just hold your strap in one hand. Sit down, hips move towards the mat. Take your hands behind you, and even pushing your hands a little bit back, engaging your triceps again. Making space on the front, on your chest. And sink lower if you want to today. All right. Dancer's pose or some version of it. Take your strap this time, left leg or foot is getting caught. So hold your strap. I like to have my thumbs towards my leg here. And then I just want to show you, if you can, this is the version that I would maybe do. Now I can't do it on my leg now because there's no injury there. Lean forward. Breathe. Huge arch in your back without hurting yourself. Maybe a little more gentle than I did there. Inhale, take your hands up. Exhale, forward fold. And let's stay in the forward fold just for a little bit because we have been doing a back bend in our dancer's pose. You can take a hold of your calves and move forward. Just remind yourself that there's no need to get your head in between your legs. Doesn't really do anything good in that sense. It's just good to be a little bit flexible, but you don't have to be too much. All right. Take your hands on your mat as you step your right foot back. Warrior 2. So you turn your foot around, pivot your foot around. Back foot aligned with the short end of your mat. Lift up, bend the front knee, toes pointing in the long direction of your mat, and then hands out to the side, looking towards the front hand. Really leaning in, hips opened. Notice your breathing, your breath. Is it deep? Awesome. Take your hands down and then pivot that front foot to the front end or almost aligned with the short end of your mat. But toes pointing a little bit inward. Now, how wide you stand is completely up to you. At the beginning, we have a straight spine. Take can be your right hand on the floor. Lift up your left hand towards the sky. Now, if you can't reach the floor, maybe you have a block or water bottle or something like that you can use. And reach up, trying to stack your hands completely above each other. Twisting your shoulders, twisting your spine. And if you look up, you'll feel it on your neck. So make sure that your neck is okay. Maybe it's easier just to look down. And let go. You can bend your knees, relax your feet a little bit if that's nice. Again, toes pointing a little bit in, doing our spinal twist here in the wide stand, the opposite direction. So left hand on the floor, can be your fingers. That gives you a little more space. And lift up your right hand, looking up or down as I said before. And let go. Now we did our warrior 2 in one direction. If you're not sure what it looks like, maybe you want to step on the foot to the front of your mat, but otherwise look back, because then you turn your back foot to the front end of the back end of your mat and do your warrior 2 the opposite direction. Just trying to make things a little bit easier here. So looking back, so this time you might bend your back knee. Looking towards that side where your knees bended. Lowering down. Feeling if you're leaning forward, and if you are, try to come back. You have a tall spine. Beautiful. Release. Take your front foot or your feet a little bit further together. And this time, toes pointing out. Now, you might be standing like this on your mat to face the screen, so that's perfect. I'm just staying here so you can see what's going on. Sit down, not completely in yoga squat, but it looks like it. Toes, knees pointing exactly the same direction. And then you take your cactus hands out. Here, shoulder and elbows aligned, fingers out, standing strong. Engage your root lock. Getting ready for our stretches. And lift up. Take your palms together. Make yourself as tall as you can. And let go. Turn around so that your hands are where they normally are. The best way for you to look at the screen. Step your feet back into your down dog. Heel sinks low. Bend your knee if that's nice. Take your shoulders away from your ears. Small bend in your elbows. And if you prefer vinyasa flow, then join me or stay. Inhale. That's your vinyasa flow. If you want to do that, come to your plank, exhale, lower down. Inhale, chest lifts, up dog or cobra, and then down dog. Awesome. Lift your right leg towards the sky. Three-legged dog, closing your hip. Now stay here for a few breaths. If you take a look at your back foot, your toe should be pointing towards the mat. And that right leg lifted. Shouldn't be lifted too high because then your hip is open. Stay here. A few more breaths. Or if you want to pivot around and find your wild thing, that's an option. So putting your right leg behind you and lifting up just for a few breaths. Only an option if you want to go a little bit wild. Give it your all on the mat. Moving back. Left leg, three-legged dog. Lift your leg. Take a look at your foot. Is it turned around or is your toes pointing towards the mat? As before, stay here or turn around, foot down. Ooh. If you were gliding on the floor, get in on your mat. And lower down. Everyone finds their downward facing dog. Stretching right leg to the front end of your mat. Move it to the right side, so right foot to the front end of your mat, out to the right side of your mat. I like to fold my mat for my left knee's sake. Shoulders and arms on the inside of your leg here. And then push your left hand a little bit further away from your foot because we're going to do our hip opening here. So right hand pushes out on your left, on your right knee. Hips move forward as you open up. So you're on the outer edge of your foot, lifting your sole of the foot a little bit. So whatever is important to you, what you put your faith in. My faith is in Christ, but maybe it's something else for you. But whatever you believe in, why do you tend to hold back? As we reflect on this, you can take the sole of the foot back, knee and ankle directly above each other, and come closer to your front foot. Again, moving hips forward and down, and maybe on one elbow or two elbows here. So why? Why are we holding back from giving what we really believe in and trusting everything that we have? And take your hands on the mat. Move yourself back, tabletop. Any free movements of your choice. Right knee on the mat, meaning left foot to the front end of your mat. Again, knee and ankle above each other, at least at the beginning, but we're going to move our knee out to the side. So I take my right hand a little bit further away from my foot here, move my hip forward, and then push my knee out for hip opening pose. So I get my inner thigh here involved. So I must admit that even though to some people I seem like I'm doing a lot of good work for the kingdom of God with yoga, I still don't feel like I'm giving out of my poverty. I still feel like I'm giving out of whatever I have left, at least sometimes. And maybe you can relate to that. All right. Sole of the foot on the mat. Again, moving hip forward and down. I think this is called lizard pose, maybe. So down, doesn't have to be on your elbows. It's only if your hips allow it. I just want to be clear that I'm asking these questions because I want us to realize what we are and what the reality is. That sometimes we don't measure up. That even though we want to do good, we tend to hold back out of fear or whatever reasons there might be. Let go of that stretch. Come down on your spine and take a hold of your strap again. Gonna find our spinal twist with our strap, but first a little bit of stretching on our hamstrings. Right foot, try to catch that. Both hands on the strap, and then pull your foot or your leg back. Now, maybe this is better for you if you bent your knee, so you choose. Left knee can be bended, or if your hips feel okay about that, you can stretch out that leg, so you choose again. If the persons involved in the story was changed, if Jesus was the one that came by the treasury, what would he have given out of love? Because that was what this was. Would he have given everything or bits and pieces? spinal twist. Take a hold of the strap with your left hand. Right foot up, left hand on the strap. Move it to the side. And come all the way to the edge, or you can call the edge of your hip, on the side of your hip. Right hand maybe reaches the floor. This is a deep spinal twist, so be nice to yourself. So my point is that Christ, he gave everything. Gave everything out of love for us. And he did that because he knows that we tend only to give bits and pieces. And this is what grace is, that God gives us so much more than we could ever deserve. Let go of your spinal twist. Left leg up, taking a hold of the foot again, hamstring stretch, bent right knee or stretch it up, whatever. And spinal twist. This time, right hand on your strap and move your left foot to the right side, all the way on your side of your hip. Left hand out. If your hands can reach the floor, maybe your elbow can, just bend your elbow and put your hand on your ribs or wherever makes sense. Close your eyes, nose pointing up. And as we try to relax every muscle in our body and breathe deeply, maybe we can also open our hearts and bodies and minds to the gift that God's love is. No need to muscle in or pay our way in. It's a gift. I can pay bits and pieces, but God paid it all for me out of love. Let go of your strap. And come onto your back, resting pose. So stretch out your leg, let your feet fall a little bit out to the side, hands down on the floor, palms facing up. So one last time, going back to the story. And God is not judging you for only putting a little bit in the treasury. We might judge ourselves, but God is not. He's just saying, receive my grace. And then out of that, not out of guilt, but out of love, you can give so much more. hope you'll take the time to stay down on your mat a few more minutes. When you're ready to sit up, always start with slow movements and fingers and toes and all that. But I'd hope that you want to inhale with me. Just a thank you for love. So inhale, thank, and you exhale. Again, inhale, thank. Exhale, you. From my heart to your heart, have a blessed day. And remember, whatever comes your way, the love gave it all up for you. So stand firm in that also today.